I hope you enjoyed this episode with Matt Grabowski, serial entrepreneur and multi-brand, multi-unit franchisee. Today, we're discussing how an energy commodities trader turned to franchising to create additional wealth, how COVID made Matt pivot to non-brick and mortar brands. We discuss his investments in Orange Theory Fitness, Brothers That Just Do Gutters, Smash My Trash, and Heavyweight Waste. We hope you enjoy the show, and please follow us as we drop new episodes each week on Wednesdays. Welcome to Pursuit of Profit, the podcast that cuts through the hype and gives you the real story on franchising and entrepreneurship. If you want honest conversations, tough truths, and practical advice to build wealth, take control of your future, you're in the right place. I'm Cliff Nonemacher, host and co-founder of Franchisee, where we help aspiring business owners find their right franchise and avoid costly mistakes. We talk about what others gloss over, the failures, the pitfalls, and the behind-the-scenes moves that make or break your success. Whether you're just getting started or deep into the process, this is your go-to source for unfiltered insight. Let's get into it.
We were introduced to you by Justin, who we've known for a while now. We met Justin like as he was just starting to launch Smash My Trash before he even met Franchise Fastlane. He introduced us to you. So I guess you're here to talk about Smash. But now I see, I mean, you own some of our favorite brands. We actually just recorded, we haven't launched it yet, Cliff, but we recorded a podcast talking about boutique fitness a couple of weeks ago. So we have a lot of opinions there on what's happening with F45, exponential
Orange
fitness,
Theory.
even Orange Theory, right? There's been a lot of talk there. We're former boutique fitness guys ourselves, so we'd love to kind of hear your experiences and what's happening there. We had Ryan Parsons on the pod a couple of months ago.
I listened to it. It was awesome. Ryan's an incredible guy.
Is he like one of the best people in franchising or what?
He cares so much, and the culture they created when we went to Discovery Day, I was like, he had a driver or a guy on the crew get up and talk about a book report in front of 70 people and be right in their career ladder. And I was like, what is going on? This guy blew me away. They are such good people. And most franchise models are just like, hey, we got this idea, we're going to roll them out. He thought about it for 7 years and is delivering. And people like that I want to be around and grow with. And that's how Justin is as well. And he's a fantastic human. They grew super fast, and then now they're supporting their franchisees really well. I want to say too, the podcast you guys did on basic understanding of where we're at, it's best advice. That like blew me away. I just want to give you guys a huge compliment to that. It was just you two talking about don't do brick and mortar. I mean, everything you guys were saying to the structure of it. The more I want to share that with anyone that's ever asked me about a franchise model and concept, because it saves people their life savings. Literally.
That's a powerful statement.
The honesty you guys had and the way you lay it out. And if I was going to send anybody, and I've had friends get into things and bad and try to talk to them, but I was really, really impressed. So kudos to you guys for approaching this industry where it's like, it gets a little slimy at times, right? It's not honest.
Yep.
And kudos to you guys.
I appreciate that. And it's why we do this. We want to kind of put it all out there, right? Let's talk about the good and the bad. We're straight shooters. Yeah. And like yourself, our journey was brick and mortar, kind of sexy brand fitness. We did okay, but we also saw a lot of people get hurt, right? Long-term leases and taking on a lot of debt and overextending themselves. And then we got into property restoration, like the dirtiest, least sexy business out there, super profitable. And we're like, man, this is interesting. If you're just a capitalist, right, and you just want to make a bunch of money, this is kind of cool. So if you could, we have a lot to talk about here. Take us back, go before franchising, right? Sure. What were you doing? What led you into starting with Orange Theory?
You got it. So my background was I was an institutional broker in New York. Brokered currency options for a couple of years, went overseas for a year, left, came back. That's when deregulation of electricity kind of came about in the late 90s. And I traded electricity and commodities for 18 years. So that was the first phase, but I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I worked I did one of those college painting companies. There was just something about it, right? That I just wanted to get into the entrepreneurial world. And I was with DT Energy for a long time, traded there, left, worked for a hedge fund out of Houston, opened an office in Ann Arbor, and did that for about 7 years. About halfway through, we found Orange Theory. My wife's sisters live out in Denver, saw the concept. At that point, I was ready for a transition in the career. And we opened our first studio in Ann Arbor in 2015. It was a 250th studio. And it was an incredible brand pre-COVID. It's still a very strong brand, not margins that they used to be. You used to be able to open them and then they would just go and you didn't really have to put much into it. But that's where we cut our teeth in customer service, right? Accountability, managing people, promoting people, expectations, like all those things that it takes. But as you said, like brick and mortar, right? You're signing up, you're signing at that point, we're signing 10-year leases and PG and, 3 years of it. At that point, right now, a lot more stringent in terms of the personal guarantees. We continued to open 3 more studios. Orange Theory got scooped up quick. So if you weren't an AR, there's an AR model and area representative model in Orange Theory. You just kind of ran out of runway, right? So we were actually looking to exit, had an LOI signed pre-COVID, went away. And a year later, we had a top 10 studio in the country at our original studio we opened. It had 1,300 members. A year later, it had 250.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was hard. I mean, talk
Holy
about
crap.
the mental side, right? Of being an entrepreneur and failure and something that's out of your control.
Knowing what it took to build that, and it just goes away like that.
What do you attribute that to? I mean, you're a strong operator. This isn't operator error where you're like, oh man, they took their eye off the ball.
Was that COVID?
It was COVID, right? Every state, right? States were different. New York, California, Michigan got hammered. We were forced closed for 6 months. We were 50% capacity for 4 months. And our attrition rate at Orange Theory is 5-6%. Just play out attrition, right? People are scared. You create this fear of, right? Rightfully so, and a lot of reasons. But fitness was an answer. And fitness didn't get large, we got PPP, ERC, but restaurants got chunks of money. Fitness was not represented. And it hurt. And it took the wind out of a lot of sales, right? Of people. In boutique fitness, you guys were in it, variety of people. PE came in and we're like, okay, we're going to buy, we're going to scoop up, leverage it. And then they thought it was going to get back to where it was, and it hasn't. The growth, right? Fitness can be fickle. It can be fat. It's a strong business. It's just not exceptional like it was, in my opinion. You don't see the growth rates like you used to, but it's still a very strong profit margin business.
I'm having flashbacks to the middle of COVID. I remember the CEO of Lifetime Fitness was on Fox News every night.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing to this industry? Like, you're crushing us. You have to reopen. This guy's watching his company die.
That's right. Right. And there's only like, I don't know, thousands of white papers on the benefits of fitness,
exercise,
and
movement,
right? To be healthy and to build your immune system. It's like, no, kill the gym, but keep the strip club open.
No surfing, no sunlight, no water, no grounding, no exercise.
That's right. That's right.
It was right. Like you guys are obviously serial entrepreneurs, and you want to work as hard as you possibly can to achieve some outcome, right? Whether that's financial or personal growth, whatever. It did not matter how hard I worked during that time period.
That's right.
It was just saving it. It was talking to unemployment, trying to keep our people on staff. It was PPP, ERC, trying to do the right thing. Just, it was tough, man.
Did you pay rent? Or did you get abatement? You did. You paid.
I mean, we abated for a period of time, but we had to pay it over time.
That's right.
I mean, we weren't getting free rent. No one was giving us a break. They're like, sure, pay it and whatever, which we grinded, and we were proud of that, but that takes the wind out of your sails honestly, for me, for that brand, it was hard. It's hard to work on a concept after. So that's one we're looking to potentially, move on from. But
Yeah.
that also led us to Smash, which is super exciting.
So COVID's gone, right?
Yeah.
And people are exercising.
Mhm.
Why hasn't it come back? What's happening?
Yeah.
And so one of our opinions was like, as you said, you called it a fad. We like to say fitness is trendy, right? Because fitness
Sure.
will always be a thing. It's just what type of fitness are we doing? Orange Theory fits in this high intensity interval training thing, which has been done now many times. It has kind of been the big trend. There always seems to be the next trend. So it's like high intensity training seems to be slowing, but there's like no new trend. So it's like, where do we go from here?
Yeah, it's a really good question. When I said fat, I probably should have said fickle. And trend is a really good word for it. I think Orange Theory will be here in 20, 30 years. They're a very innovative company. They get it. That workout works. It is, I believe, one of the most effective workouts for the masses anywhere that I've seen, because people come in and get results that haven't gotten results of anything they've ever done. Now you can go be CrossFit, whatever, but that's a very small segment that do that or want to do that. The 50-year-old mom that hasn't had anything that really worked, they come in, there's a certain culture that's created in certain studios in Orange Theory that is empowering and embracing. And I love that aspect of it, right? It's welcoming. Anyone can do that workout. We've had 75-year-old grandmas that walk and do the workout next to somebody that's an elite athlete. We've had pro athletes come in and throw up because they work out so hard, because you can go as far as you want in that workout. But that's the beauty of Orange Theory. And it's really exciting to see, and the welcoming culture and customer service is fantastic. So I think Orange Theory is here to stay. Now, what I've seen is, like, pre-COVID, we used to get a ton of kids from the University of Michigan, or we've got one in East Lansing as well. So that trendiness, right, of what's cool with those kids, I think is what we're missing right now. We do not have as many college kids.
Interesting.
And if I'd say we're down 30%, right, ish, in total kind of revenue. And that's with revenue going up, but members are down probably 40%, but your revenue is increased because we've increased prices with inflation. But obviously labor and everything has gone up as well. So
it's just no longer the cool thing for young people to do.
Most people don't get the full story when they start exploring franchising. So they make mistakes. That costs them big. That's why my business partner, Justin Guevara, and I wrote Beyond the Brand, The Entrepreneur's Guide to Fearless Franchising. It is our proven 6-step process at Franchisee to help you find the right franchise, avoid costly pitfalls, and build a business that truly fits your goals. Grab your copy of Beyond the Brand on Amazon or any major book retailer and start building your future fearlessly. The next fad is, unfortunately, semaglutides. That's the unfortunate part of this conversation. The next fad of our culture is, can I get any lazier? Yes. Can I just avoid this at all costs? Yes. Just go get Ozempic. I mean, you heard recently what they want to do now? They want to get it on Medicare. They want Medicare to contribute $1,500 a month towards Ozempic and all these semaglutides. This is insanity.
But money towards going to a gym, which some companies do.
Yep.
But be preemptive. Like, go listen to Outlive. It's a great book about we're looking at medicine wrong and we're just treating it at the end. But you gotta look at your health and wellness and fitness. To me, that would put it over the hump, because, like, Orange Theory is a boutique, expensive product, right? Yeah. It's not a Planet
My wife's
Fitness.
a member. My wife is a member.
That's
she
awesome.
She left, like you said, during COVID. It was $100 and I don't know, call it $125 a month. So that's 2020. She's now back in there 2024, 4 years later, $170 a month.
Yeah.
And probably not any more profitable because labor costs are up, rent's more expensive.
Yeah.
Margins probably shrink with that price increase.
And, like, Planet came back faster. Those big box gyms came back because
$10 a month.
$10 bucks, and they just get 6,000 members, and they don't care if you show up. But 95% of that's a very arbitrary number, can't go into a gym and work out and get the type of workout you get and the results you get at an Orange Theory or an I-45 or whatever. It's hard, right? So for someone to make that leap and get in and bust their butt for the first 2-3 months and get into shit, like, and feel energized, that's a big step for people. right? Once they're in, and we keep members for, probably 9 months, but they knew how hard it was to do it. So I think some are, shied away from it, but it's still a fantastic workout. It's evolved. I'm really impressed by that franchisor. They've done a really great job, Dave Long and the whole crew.
We're down with their corporate headquarters. Our office was down the street from them, and they remodeled that. Cool. It was an old Blockbuster. Talk about the new shiny penny taking over the old, right? And that Blockbuster was there a long time. It hung in there, even during streaming. I was shocked. I'm like, I can't believe this store is still in East Boca. I was blown away by it.
That's where we put our first Orange Theory in an old Blockbuster.
Really? How funny is my wife can't just go to the gym. She needs the people, right? She needs all the group training. Yeah. Like she loves the model. Yeah. So I completely agree with you. But as you said, so we're here, you're going to divest yourself. I think that's super smart. Personally, and you probably heard it on the pod, I have never been long fitness. I do think it's, I think you used the right word as it relates to a brand. It's faddish. Remember Bally's? Remember Fitness Together? Remember Snap Fitness? I mean, it's like, remember when? These were fads. I'm sorry. There is a bell curve. And if you enter fitness, this is a note for the audience. If you get involved in fitness, you're immediately entering the left-hand side of a bell curve. And it is your job to get out at the top of the bell curve. Everyone gets out at the right-hand side in the death spiral.
We missed about a month, probably 2 months.
Yep. Yeah, but you're
a couple therapy sessions are on that one.
let's get into the real money.
This is only going to cost you $250 for the therapy session, Matt. We'll bill you later.
Done deal.
I want to talk smash and I want to talk heavyweight waist. And I think we're there. So you, after Orange Theory, tell me, how did you get introduced to Smash? Like, what was the intro?
So through a franchise broker, we thought we were selling them. We thought we were there. So we signed the franchise agreement in February of 2020. It was just right there, right? And then it all happened. So COVID, in a sense, it got us into that business, which was great, but it was incredibly hard. At that point, a lot of business was shut. We got into Smash because we wanted to find something that was not brick and mortar, right? As you guys have talked about. We wanted to find something that had a lower employee count. The OTFs are heavy personnel. There's a great benefit to promoting folks and empowering them, but there's also a very difficult side to managing people. So we wanted a lower employee count. We wanted something disruptive, and a lot that led us to Smash. We went from, you guys mentioned earlier, from fitness to, home services, and we went to waste. Like, it can't get any different. Nobody wants to talk about waste. They're like, "Are you doing the Smash thing?" Yeah, great. Like, whatever. If I talk about Orange Theory, they would talk to me for 30 minutes.
They light up.
I'm like, oh, it's great. I don't have to explain it all. But yeah, that's what led us. Justin Haskins is a fantastic human being, great vision. Went to the Discovery Day, was really impressed with the model. We ended up deciding to buy Miami, 6 territories in Miami, and 4 in Fort Myers and Naples. That's where we started because haul rates were higher.
That's right.
Our due diligence went down. You probably get about 25% of their Smash price for whatever the haul rates are. So if it's $400 nationally, you get about $100, but Miami, you get up to $600. So that's why we went there. We felt that the business, the business structure and the economy down there was a better fit, even though it was a distance. My partner, Brett Borak, who is involved in all of our other businesses that we talked about, moved down there with his 1-year-old and his wife and 2 dogs, right? Talk about a commitment, and learn the business and grind it. And one of our other partners did the same thing for 6 months. So I would say any semi-absentee structure, I am so against. You got to do it. You got to live it. You got to experience it. You guys talked about it in the pod I was referencing earlier. You're going to invest $500,000 and hire somebody for $40,000 to run your business. It's comical. I mean, I'm just couldn't agree more as you guys were talking. Like, go learn it so you can teach them and have some credibility to say what you're saying, and then go hire a GM or whatever. But I think it's hugely important if you want to be successful, and that's what we've done for every one of our concepts we've ever done.
So Matt, what would you say to someone who says, but yeah, I have to leave my job to do that? I mean, look at what you've accomplished. For someone to walk away from $150,000, $200,000 a year job is scary, but look at where it's gotten you, right? Going all in on something. Look at what you've built.
Yeah. It's, I would say, one, why are you leaving?
Matt in his head is going, I was an energy trader, 150. That was my expense account.
I'm talking about the typical.
I think it's, why are you leaving your job? Are you leaving your corporate job because you don't like it and you want to replace it with something? Like, that's the first question I'd ask. Two, as you guys laid out very succinctly in your podcast, like, understanding the risks. Like, I was fortunate to come from trading where I could evaluate the risks, but brick and mortar, signing a long-term lease, PGing, you start adding it up, you're 150 in risk, right? Or 1.5 in risk pretty quickly on one location. So I think being all in, I was able to do it because I had a partner, right? An operating partner, because I continued to trade for probably 2 years after that. And then when we got to the point of scale, I did it. So I had that luxury. So bring somebody in, right? Find somebody that is younger, that can grind, but you need some representation of ownership that's going to be in it and grinding on it. And then I got out, and honestly, I've never operated businesses. I've been in them, but I'm not in the day-to-day. I never have been. That's not my strength. Even today, that's not what it is. But we've always had Brett and other people that have worked with us that we trusted, that we've then given ownership in companies, or they've earned ownership and started. Like Brothers is a perfect example. Greg Brackovich was our regional coach with Orange Theory. He wanted to do something different. Now he's an owner of Brothers, and he's running Brothers with another lady we know, right? I love that. I love that they can work and grind and set up the structures to do it. So I know I'm kind of going in circles to answer your question, but there's got to be reasons why you're doing it, and you got to know how damn hard it's going to be. And I tell people too, here's one thing I don't like about the franchise world. In the FDD, they're selling you a bill of goods and their item 19 that's 2 years down the road. And they're saying you can make 200 grand, 300 grand, whatever. What's the meat from the day you signed your FA to the 2 years? What's your cash flow look like in the grind? And will you even have money coming in for those 2 years? So if I'm sitting on a validation call now, I tell people, I would anticipate you're not making a dime for 2 years. And if it's before, they're great. Because they're like, what's break even? How long does it take? I used to say 4 to 5 months. I don't say it anymore because I want to scare them. I want to save them the headache, right? I want to save them the headache, because that's what all these franchise brokers are selling people. And that's the thing that really bothers me. And that's what I really enjoyed about listening to you guys and how upfront and honest you were about it.
Well, one is you have to plan for the worst. What if you don't break even in 6 months? You have to have the capital there. And you're going to be reinvesting, right? So you could just start pulling all the money, sucking all the money out of the business and take a paycheck, or, right, where do you want to be? Or you could scale, and continue to reinvest.
Yeah.
100%. For those at home, it's easy to wrap your head around gutter repair or Orange Theory Fitness. Can you explain the smash my trash model?
Sure.
Because people are like, there's a franchise for trash smashing. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive what Justin figured out. So it is a Kenworth or International truck that is retrofitted with a boom and a drum on the end of it. And we back up to primarily 30 and 40-yard traditional dumpsters, and with heavyweight, our oversized dumpsters, but I'll get into that. And you back up to that can, and the drum is dropped into the can, and most of what is in dumpsters is a bunch of air. It really is. So we reduce, on average, with certain material, if someone's doing 10 hauls a month, we'll reduce them to 3. That tells you how much air is in a can, right? it compresses, it grinds up the trash, it goes slow enough that it's not throwing stuff out the top. And we need to hit it at various levels. You can't come in when the thing's full and expect it to go from 100% to 30%. We need to hit it when it's at 40% to bring it from 40 to 20, when it's at 60 to 35. So we hit a can probably 3 or 4 times to make it most effective and efficient for the customers. And on average, we will save a new smash customer 10 to 15%, sometimes more, sometimes less. And just because we reduce the hulls. And it is the first disruptive thing to waste in 40 years since a compactor, 50 years.
I know,
and
it's
when
so
we
true,
started,
right? No innovation.
I mean, think
None.
of something else.
So true.
Yeah.
On the landfill side, yes, right? Because the environmental play, but we have an environmental play too. I mean, we'll reduce carbon emissions for most customers between like 40 and 50%. So the bigger customers care greatly about it.
And it's all route. And that was when we met Haskins. That was one of the issues. Hey, come out and smash my trash. And he comes out and it's billowing over the top. I can't do that. I need to do it. I'm either compacting the bottom third, the middle third, right? There's got to be a layer to the container where I'm most effective. And the only way to do this effectively is to create a route-based system where I understand your fill frequency and I'm constantly smashing your trash and compressing and removing that air and shredding the refrigerator box, which is all air. I mean, how many kids have played in a refrigerator box? You know, like, come on, we made forts out of them. These things are they're massive. Or they're remodeling a house and you just take kitchen cabinets, throw them in there. It's all air. It's just air in those cabinets, all that stuff. I totally agree with you. I got behind it big time. I know Justin did too. We have another guy in our team, Emilio. He got behind it big. I mean, we sold a ton of these franchises. We truly believed in it. But to your point, we believed in Haskins. Haskins is who we believed in first.
Yeah.
It's rare that you find businesses in franchising that could truly be that disruptive. And usually disruption comes with complexity. This was just so simple.
That's right.
One employee, one truck. It's a logistics route business with huge profit margins. So we fell in love with it. Yeah,
it's great. And to your point about Justin, he's a fantastic guy and trustworthy, right? Like someone leading a franchisor, you need that because any franchisor makes mistakes, right? And their ability to listen to whatever, National Franchise Council, franchisees, right? Adapt, change. And he's done that for sure. And they grew so quick, right? To have the structure. And that's what I really, really respect about Justin and that role is a lot of reasons.
A lot of people listening, he did something. We've been in this business a long time, 20 plus years, and he did something that no franchisor would ever think of doing. He stopped developing his brand to focus on the people that bought it and to tighten everything up and then say, okay, we cleaned it up. I hear you, franchise community. That was onerous, right? That was a lot to digest.
To Justin's credit, I was at the time I was president of the National Franchise Council, and I worked and had a lot of really difficult conversations with Justin about that, and we got it changed. And that there were impacts to the franchisor because of that, right? And to his credit, he did it, and now it's smoothing itself out over time. But not a lot of people would have done that, and I
totally agree. I totally agree.
It took a burden off of every franchisee that you run your economics and I have to buy this truck and this and what it does to your EBITDA, and you play that scenario out. It was really, really burdensome, and to his credit, they did it.
So you were somewhat the architect behind this grievance, if you will, with the franchise community. I didn't know. I'm learning this now in real time. You are or were the president of the Franchise Advisory Council. Interesting.
Right. You listen to the franchisees, right? So that was the primary thing that kept coming up and up, and that was the role. And we had a franchise council that worked on it. So I'm not sitting here taking credit for it by any stretch of the imagination, but Justin and I and the group had a lot of conversations about it, and we presented plans, went to Indy, talked about it, why it was so cumbersome and why it was going to be difficult to continue to add franchisees to it, and thought of other ways to present with our National Franchise Council.
Good for you.
You know, an alternative, right? You can't complain about stuff and not come with ideas or alternatives. So
some people have a great idea, and he did. It was a great idea, right? But they're really shitty franchisors. So it's like, man, I'm in a weird spot. I got this great idea. You love it. You're coming out of COVID, or you're in COVID. You're dealing with your orange, right? You're in it. You're dealing with shit. The lockdowns were March of 2020. You're in this thing April of 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the timing.
In Miami, that was shut down, like,
and
crazy.
Yeah, Miami. Look, you said no politics, but Miami is a bit liberal, right? So they're a bit blue down there, where the state of Florida was wide open for business. But certain pockets had some shutdowns. I get it. And then, but with Justin, you have like this perfect balance between, you have a great idea. You're obviously franchisee centric. You're willing to do the right thing. Your moral compass, for the love of God, is pointing in the right direction. A lot of people today, it's like, man, you're a disaster. Your brand sucks and you suck. No, really, like, you have no profitability. Right. You don't obsess over the bottom line. You really don't care about me as the franchisee. And all you do is obsess over top line gross at the expense of net to just drive more revenue to royalties, because that's all they care about. And you're seeing it right now happening in food. It's like, no, sell them the pretzel with the soda, with the thing, with the toy, with right.
Just keep giving them more coupons.
Exactly. It's like Macy's. Exactly. Tell us about Smash before we get into heavyweight. What are you doing in like, how many trucks? What are you doing in revenue? How much revenue can a truck generate? Like, give us some numbers.
Yes. So we bought those 10 original territories, grinded, figured it out. You know, we were burning cash like crazy in the beginning. Caught our, like, early 21, started getting some recurring business, but had to change things, right? Like, you just got to be creative. You got to grind, right? And problem solve. I mean, that's a huge thing about being an entrepreneur, because they're going to give you a roadmap, but it doesn't always work the way they say it is. So we acquired a 4-pack of territories from Fort Lauderdale up to up to Boca in 22, and then we bought West Palm up to Vero Beach. So now we have 18 Smash territories.
Wow.
We launched heavyweight in 22 in Fort Myers, and then we just expanded and are expanding really through the rest of those territories. So we'll have, I think, 11 heavyweight territories. So that's where we are now. We're growing into that. We're creating teams internally to support that, because heavyweight is a different animal in terms of operation. But going back to answer your question, so now we have 5 Smash trucks. We'll probably have another one in the next 6 months. We're doing almost 190,000 in revenue on the 5 trucks, and our heavyweight model is at about $160,000 a month. You know, it's $4 million business right now with growth that'll continue, and that's, you know, I'd say 2.5 years.
This is Justin. This phone call is where sales meets reality, right? So the broker community gets behind a brand. We have an item 19, and it makes financial performance representations in writing, and then we get on the call with you. So what's the net?
So the net,
as a percentage.
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, profit margins, and this is 2 years in, right? I don't want the listener to think it's happening right away. This is 2+ years into the business. Depending on how you're operating, who's selling, if you're owner outright, whatever, it's a 35 to 45% margin business.
Holy
Smash!
Shit. Wow. So it is. I was going to say, if he doesn't say 30, because 30 was the number, right? That was your floor. Even if you're a marginal operator,
I think the number was even a little bit higher.
The number was 50. I don't think
the blue sky number was 50, right?
But that was it was in business longer. It was a smaller territory. They probably didn't have the infrastructure that you have. but
yes,
still. So I mean, the number is when we see these earnings claims, we our thing is usually, listen, if you do 50, great. If you do half that number, are you happy? Yes, then do it, right? But because like you don't, there's too many variables there. And that number, 50% profit margin in any business where you need equipment and employees,
it's insane.
is insane. Right.
Insane.
In a solopreneur self-employment model, I get it. But it's unheard of.
Not when you're scaling vehicles.
No.
Right.
Talk about employees too, right? So let's say that was the equivalent or roughly the equivalent of what we're doing at Orange Theory. Orange Theory, we have 70 employees. We're Smash with 12.
Wow. 12 million for 12 employees.
Sorry,
for
12
million.
employees for the 4.
Produce 4
and we're going to be
million.
growing into more. And the equivalent, right, with brick and mortar, TF is 70 employees.
Almost $400,000 in revenue per employee at a 30% net margin.
Yeah, and that's drivers, 3 salespeople, and a few admins. So, and I would say too, like the other benefit of this, your depreciation that you get off these trucks is fantastic, right? Your accelerated depreciation, so you're making X throughout the year.
Yeah.
You go buy a truck or two, or you're buying cans. I mean, it's like buying trailer parks, right? You get that depreciation right off the bat. You're writing it off, and then at some point there's an exit. And I'll say when we bought trucks in 2020, I was like, man, I don't know if I can sell this thing to anyone. The first 2 trucks we bought, I am very confident that a Smash truck will be part of waste for the foreseeable future, for decades, because it is so impactful. Now, whether Waste Management, Republic, whoever gets in and buys or whatnot, I just don't see it going away, because I think I can sell these trucks to somebody.
Right.
Which is nice, because if I'm buying brick and mortar and I'm exiting, what am I getting? 10 cents on the dollar if it fails? Right. I just like that aspect of it, and the appreciation too.
So Matt, help us with, I'm going to assume you acquired these additional territories in Palm Beach County. They weren't new, someone else owned these and you bought them.
Yeah, someone was operating one, was doing, I think at the time, 30K in revenue. We've got it up after a year and change up to 62 in revenue a month. And then the other territory, the West Palm territory up to Vero Beach, had not been operated in. And we've been operating that for probably 9 months. It's been exciting. And we brought heavyweight too. And I can get into that model and why the benefit of Smash heavyweight combined is really important.
Before you do that, I think sometimes people look at franchising and say, like, okay, like a McDonald's should produce X, like regardless of the operator, right? It's like, this is what this business should do. And it's always amazing when we see successful business models where it's like, we have one operator in Broward County doing millions. We have another operator in Palm Beach County, same thing. Who just can't seem to get this thing going, right? And I tell, like, we did it, right? We grew through acquisition, buying up a brand's attrition. It's one of the greatest ways to scale in franchising. Sure. I always tell people, like, get into the brand. You don't know what opportunities are going to come up. You got to be in it. What was it? So you took over this business and doubled revenue pretty quickly. What was wrong? What were you able to do? I think some people struggle with this. Yeah.
This one was simple. They didn't even have a salesperson. They had one. They fired them. They never. It goes back to the root. They never sold themselves. They were semi-absentee, which, as you guys probably remember in the beginning, that's kind of how Smash was sold, semi-absentee, right?
Yep.
So it's not even on them, right? They were just like, pick a litter, great territory, but they never knew what it took to operate the business, and they just mismanaged the salesperson. Had unrealistic expectations. That's why I think it's so important to run and operate the business. And that was really it. We brought our salesperson, our GM slid over. We actually had a lady, Allie, who's a stud, who's worked in some of our other businesses in Michigan. She moved down. She's now the salesperson down there. She's doing fantastic. So promoting within and knowing the people and knowing people that are going to be bought in is a huge thing. I think a lot of this answer to your question is how you treat people, how you support people, the expectations they have, right? Goals, knowing that you care about them. I mean, those things all matter. If you're screaming at someone because they haven't met a sales goal, like we always look within, like what can we do better to support our team? And I think that's really, really important.
So sales,
Sales,
treating people well, operations, being a good leader, and not being an asshole.
Yeah, and accountability to like
the
your
ABCs.
customers, right? Yeah. I know it sounds so simple, but like our response time for any of our business it's like quick, right? We're on top of stuff. And that is a huge thing that we don't see. If something's going wrong, we'll call them immediately and address it. If we screw something up, we're calling them and explaining why. And that doesn't happen in waste. That's one thing I'd say, like, right, Net Promoter Scores across various businesses, in Orange Theory, they're in like in the 80s, that like really, really good because we care about customer service. Net Promoter Scores that I learned in the waste industry for these big boys. Now, I don't want to like lump, there's some really good haulers out there, but there are negative Net Promoter Scores for some of the big boys in hauling. Wow. I didn't even know it could go negative.
How could you possibly mess up hauling a dumpster?
Yeah, because they don't respond. They don't call their customer back. So we come in and we ran an NPS at Smash for like 6 months, and it was in the high 80s, low 90s. So that in and of itself, if you get customer service and you're accountable and you're following through in a market that doesn't traditionally have it for the majority of these big boys, because they just care about revenue. They're going to increase your prices, right? Waste management, any mid-range hauler is going to just want to grow their business and sell to waste management, and they just care about revenue. So we take a different approach. And a lot of that we learned through Orange Theory and customer service. So I would put that way up top. And hiring the right salesperson, because it is a door-to-door, grindy business that you get a lot of rejection, you get a lot of no's, a no response, and not every salesperson's built for that. They might say they are,
that's right,
but a lot of salespeople are account managers. This is knocking on the door, walking up to the back of a loading dock, talking to the manager. Can we give you a demo? They're like, what are you guys? Right now they know us a little bit more. It's easier. But back in 2020 and 2021, it wasn't like that. And we would hear no 20 times, right? People were like, get off my property. We're never going to use you. They're our customers currently. So you can see the type of, to me, that is one of the biggest things. And I tell any new franchisee, if you can't do that and aren't capable of it, try and do it with somebody that you think can, because that is what it takes, especially on these smaller customers.
It's the ABCs of building a business. It's amazing to me how these things are overlooked. We talk about this all the time on the show. We'll have someone on non-brick and mortar brand. I'll call tree services or waste control people, pest control. No one answers their phone, like simple things like that. I did order a dumpster recently because I was cleaning up my mom's garage. She's aging and I needed to make room for 2 cars. And the guy was actually great. He was great. But to get to him, I had to call several people before someone answered their phone. And this guy was like on it, texting, calling, customer service. And all the other guys, they still haven't called me back. It is remarkable to me. It really is. I'm blown away by it. Any one of us right now, you can hang up I can call live. We should really do it. Justin, we should do it one time. It's like Matt's on here. We have to figure out how to get the call in the pod.
Right.
And just start randomly dialing people. It's like, Matt, where are you? I'm in Naples, Fort Myers. It's like, all right, let's start calling competitors.
We should Matt's next franchise. We have him on. Let's research the industry. Oh no, there's competitors in the market. All right, let's give him a call.
This is what clients say to us.
Yeah. Some of our customers that have had these bigger waste haulers for a long time, they'll literally wait on hold for an hour to get a dumpster picked up. So we take that out of their hands. Especially with heavyweight, it's all in our bundle. You never have to contact anybody. Our smash driver talks to the haul driver drops it off at the landfill, brings it back, heads. eliminate, like, where's your pain point? Is it operational efficiencies on the job site? Is it price? Is it, I'm just so pissed off at the hauler.
Right.
Do I need better customer service? And that's what we do and we focus on. And sometimes we lose customers and they want to go try somebody cheaper, or they want to go to some of these other, there are other smash competitors out there, but they don't have the as quality of machinery, and their model's a little different than us. It's more on demand, right? So they're just smashing when the customer calls them. But sometimes it happens. Sometimes we lose them, but they generally come back. Retention rates are incredibly high, even on short-term contracts that we offer, which, sure, would I love to have annual contracts? Yes. But when I can point to, 2 or 3% termination rates, I'm pretty good with that.
So you are or are not having the client sign a contract?
We do. We have them on monthly contracts. Yeah,
Excellent.
that's really important because there's.
So I want to talk about two things as we segue into heavyweight. What I wanted to do, Matt, is I wanted you to touch on something we just glazed over, which is I chose Florida for a specific reason because of the haul rates. I want the audience to understand the correlation between how you price Smash My Trash as a service relative to the cost of hauling.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can generally charge 25% of whatever average haul rates are. So on going back to the example, $400 on national averages for a 30-yard dumpster rental, we can charge about $100 per smash. Okay. And the business economics work really well on 100, and they also work at 80 a smash. Now, these bigger customers that get better rates from their haulers aren't going to pay that high. The bigger you are, right, you're just going to be more efficient and get better haul rates. So maybe they're paying $350 and we're charging $85. But Miami, we see $600-$700 haul rates with customers. So we can charge upwards of $125 a smash, sometimes even $150 on some of the smaller customers. In Miami, in West Palm, and Fort Lauderdale, where the landfills are and how much it is to dump. So it can be $100 to dump in Miami, whereas in Fort Myers it's $60, right?
Okay.
That's why haul rates are higher in Miami. And there's also fees associated with working in Miami. Miami-Dade charges 25% fee on top of any haul. So if we can eliminate, a portion of that fee as well, which we do, it's a big selling point.
Okay. Clients because I was trying to explain to clients when we were looking at this brand, the FDD item 19 was in Texas. And it was in Houston. Right. It was in Houston. Yeah. And Houston had haul rates that were half what was going on in Florida. So it's like he was doing $1.5 million in Houston. It's like, what could you do if you were running that same exact business in, as an example, Miami or, Collier County or something like that. The other thing people always brought up was, what if the drum does destroy the containers, the dumpsters? Right. And my attitude was, if it does, they're going to end up in the dumpster business. And it's shocking that he actually did end up. Now it doesn't, well, your words, not mine. Does the drum affect the container at all? No, there's metrics in place. So the way the drum is, it can't go left and right. So it wouldn't hit the sidewalls. So it just runs front and back. Now, could it hit the back of the can or the front of the can? It could. There's also safety protocols in place that prevent you from doing that. And you train your drivers in a certain way. If we were to damage a can, we pay for it. Some cans, and we tell our drivers this, that you come up that are, right, those cans rust, they're old. If you see a can billowing on the side and they're rusting, don't smash it. We won't. We'll tell the customer, hey, you need to have a different can in here to do this, because we're gonna put some pressure on the outside of a can that is rusted and is gonna get damaged. So, those are things that were put in place over time. Some of them were in place when we bought in, but also we care about that.
We don't want to damage a can, but you can see where this has frustrated haulers because it's so disruptive. We are eliminating, we're not reducing the tonnage in that customer who does 10 hauls a month. Maybe he does 40 tons, right? We're just putting the 40 tons from 10 cans into 3.
That's right. That's right.
Whatever the example is. But they're losing revenue on every one of those hauls back and forth. And that is what makes them not happy, right? They're finding a reason to say we're bad because of that.
Losing money.
Because we're taking revenue. They're losing money. They're trying to protect their business.
You guys had a huge win, I heard, legally. Wasn't it Republic?
Yeah.
That's a big win. Big win.
Did we cover heavyweight waste? We should probably at least describe the model.
Sure.
And why. I remember when we first met Justin, like one of our first questions was like you said, are you going to get into the dumpster business? And he's like, kind of a slimmer margin business, which it is. I mean, anything is compared to smashing.
Right.
And it seems like the difference here is most dumpster companies make their money on hauls. So these, for heavyweight, which is a dumpster company, it's a larger dumpster, and now we're making our money on tonnage. So it is a cost savings for the customer, but I guess the margins still seem to be there, Matt.
Yeah, so a vertically integrated big boy like a Waste Connections or Waste Management has landfills. So they want the tonnage, right? So, but they also have arms within those businesses that are just hauling revenue and then their landfill business. So the landfill side doesn't care that we smash. It's that hauling revenue side that is a tight margin business. But those big boys need both of those businesses to work, right? To supply their landfills. Now with heavyweight, we're actually customers of Waste Connections and various in Waste Management because they have landfills. So they didn't want to talk to us before. And heavyweight, in my mind, kind of jumping into that, is it protects your hauling business. And if there was a lot in the beginning of Smash, there was a lot of cease and desist. You can't smash our cans. Well, what's our alternative? If the customer gets freaked out and they're going to pull the cans, we either need a third party and find a regional hauler to put a can in there, or now we have our can that can save our business.
That's right.
Our Smash business, right? That is ultimately why we decided to get into it. And then we learned it for about a year, and now we're expanding it because we believe in the profitability and of just heavyweight on its own as a standalone business, but also what it does to increasing revenue with our Smash business, because it opens more doors to customers who are like, I like my hauler. Now we can come with a turnkey solution and provide everything for them and manage that whole customer service experience that I talked about earlier.
Would you own heavyweight as a standalone if you were not in the Smash business?
It's a really good question. And that pops up now because they're selling heavyweight out. I would want to make sure that I knew the quality and the type of the Smash franchisee and that I spent considerable time with them. And I knew that they were going to be compromising, that we had very similar beliefs and thoughts, because as a heavyweight franchisee, you are relying on the Smash franchisee. You have to have Smash to make it work. So can it work? Yes. But do your due diligence to make it work. If I had a choice, I would buy both, because there are opportunities in the country to do that. There are Smash franchisees exiting, right? And layer both of them together, because I think that is the future.
It's good advice.
Yeah. You did something unique, though, with heavyweight, where I don't know if you created a category of a size. Dumpsters are usually like 10, 20, 30, 40 yard. And you guys went in another direction, and you're only doing what, 40 and 60 or?
Yeah, 42s and 60s. So to Justin's credit, right, he found a way to make the hauling model more economical and also reduce hauls, right? There's an emissions play there too. So our traditional 30-yard can, we call that our Super 30 or our 42. So they're longer and a tad, like an inch or two higher than a traditional 30. So our haul trucks are longer, and they're big boys, man. They're massive. And then our traditional 40, we call our super 40 or our 60 yarder, right? It's 50% bigger than a 40. And if you've seen a 40, they're huge. These 60-yard cans are enormous. So that's it. So we can get 50% more material without smashing than a traditional 40. Keeps more trucks off the road, right? Then you throw smash on top of it. And for us, we're not chasing revenue to grow. Like, it is a by customer deal, EBITDA or profit margin equation for each customer. So if you approach it that way and use certain pricing models that we've kind of adapted, it can be a good business, and we're proving that out right now.
Interesting. So on the 60 yard, like a 40 yard container is like 6.5 feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you?
Docks. It's Peloton that, you're backing that thing up and they're just throwing it from their loading dock. Or you have to have a forklift.
I heard, and this was early on. I mean, I remember when Justin started the company, he had contracts with Budweiser. They were crushing, mislabeled beer and all the mistakes on the production line. Now I'm hearing that there's about 150 national account programs like UPS and DHL, things like that. Is this is this true? Like, this is coming to fruition, generating revenue?
Yeah, the national accounts program is good. I would say to any franchisee, or if you're looking to get into this business, that's not going to support your model. I just look at it as gravy, right? Yeah. Like, you need to go out and grind and build your business and not rely on the franchisor. It's people come in and they think the franchisor is going to give them all these things. And we just look at it like, we're going to go in there, we're going to figure it out, right? That's kind of the same approach we take on national accounts too. But they have grown it. Which is great.
With the size of your distribution channel, you should have national accounts, especially manufacturers, where you're just crushing things. Justin calls national accounts what do you call it, Justin? With the sprinkles?
You used to call it the sprinkles on top of the icing on top of the cake.
You're the second brand we've had on that is within $1 trillion industry. We had a logistics guy on. I mean, think about it. Like, we're talking big numbers right now. It's rare that you have an industry that's $1 trillion. The global market size for garbage collection is 1.3 trillion.
That's insane.
You know what's incredible is that the collection piece of waste is 62% of that 1.3 trillion. And what's even more interesting is that, who's creating all the waste? It's all commercial waste. Commercial waste dominates waste. It's like 85% of waste is commercial created waste.
Wow.
And the CAGR on this industry, they're expecting global waste to be 2 trillion by 2030. It's a 5.4% compounded annual growth rate, 6% in the United States. Yes.
That is massive.
The dumpster industry alone, just your industry alone, is 500 million in the United States. 500 million. And in the US, it's a $59 billion waste removal business. So you're in a massive, and I love to do trivia, and I don't think Justin's gotten one question right. So now I have to do multiple. No, but he's going to get this one because I'm going to do multiple choice. Matt, you got to play along. You ready?
All right.
This is the amount of waste produced in the United States every year. So does the United States produce 168 million tons of waste a year, 268 million tons a year, or 368 million tons per year?
368.
Justin?
268.
Oh my God, he finally got one. He finally got one. Did you cheat? Did you cheat?
No. You gave me three. You gave me three options. Matt went with the highest. I went with the middle. I don't know.
Can you imagine 268 million tons of waste every year? Mind blowing.
Mind blowing.
I know.
Tons.
Justin, what else you got?
This is it.
Let me go through the heavyweight numbers. What I think that business is for profit margin. You want that?
Of course.
Please.
This is 2 years in, right? I'm going to predicate that. I will say that I thought this is a 20% margin business if your pricing model is accurate and you're, anyone that gets into the business, I'm happy to help them talk through it. I do believe now with the way we've priced things and haven't been as aggressive on just getting every deal and being a little more selective, that it can approach a 30% margin business.
What?
Unbelievable.
That's incredible. I'm curious. So, do you believe that you could achieve that in the absence of Smash? I'm curious on a standalone heavyweight, what your thoughts would be. And maybe you're right. Maybe you're 15, 20% net as a standalone heavyweight. But with the Smash, adding a ton of efficiencies to the heavyweight model, you're eking out 30%, which to me is just mind-blowing. I'm changing everything about how I feel about the business.
I think your numbers and what you said are right. I think if you don't have Smash, it's going to be harder to achieve a 30. Are we consistently there? Maintenance costs get you at certain months, right? But there's ways to price this that we found that are unique that can provide months with higher profit margin. I'm really curious to see over the next year what our average profit margin is with Smash and heavyweight combined, which goes back to, if you have a choice, try to buy both. If it's a standalone heavyweight model, I think 15 to 20 is realistic.
Okay. Wow.
Assuming
listen to you.
You put that work in.
That's amazing, right? And this is why brands are constantly doing acquisition plays. It's like, hey, if we acquire that company, we could grab a 3% operational efficiency or a net efficiency. And then it's like, but if we acquire this software company that's doing our logistics and our scheduling, we could pick up some efficiencies through fuel, through labor, through wear and tear in the vehicles. Man.
Salesperson. We pay the same salesperson to do both.
Yep.
If we're paying it in Smash, we're paying them, whatever, 60, 70 a year. And now they sell both products versus a heavyweight franchisee coming in with a salesperson, a Smash franchisee with an existing salesperson, right? Like those operational efficiencies are really strong.
We should have bought Palm Beach County.
I know.
There's plenty to buy out there. And I would say this, there are for good operators that know their stuff, there's still a place in this for you. There really is. And I just talked to a guy before the call who I was really impressed with and bought just up north of us, like Melbourne up to Daytona, and came from a previous model that was a franchise model and lots of experience, said the right things. And I'm excited to work with them. Like, we need more. There's still a runway here. We're still young. We're still a young brand.
Matt, did you listen to the episode with Ernie Padalino with Cool Bins?
Yeah. That's what I listened to today.
What did you think of that model? If
I wasn't at the point where I'm not trying to add more things, I would look at it. I was really impressed by it, especially like the space that you can use, not just storage.
Exactly.
Right? Like that kind of blew me away. When I first listened to it, I was like, oh, it's storage, cool.
There's a lot there.
Right? Like Hurricane. And then I'm like, whoa, all these other sales avenues and the demand. I didn't listen far enough to hear the structure and how much it costs and all that, but I was really impressed by it. And what a cool story, right?
I told Justin when I hung up with him, I go, I'm just telling you, because I did that solo. Justin had a conflict. I go, there are brands that come across our desk where it's like, I think I want to be involved, but I would rather be involved with like a Matt Grabowski, where you're doing a fundraise and you're like, look, we got to grab $1 million. We're going to buy, a dozen territories. Do you guys want in? That's really, I don't want to do the day-to-day operation. I would rather align myself with someone like you. So I put that out there. If you do something in South Florida, and you want to do a raise, just keep us on your short list. I know you don't need capital, but if you ever need
100%.
capital, you're a strong operator. You're a great guy. I've really enjoyed meeting you and getting to know how you operate your businesses. And I think we should have you on.
I'm down there too. I'm down in Florida for sure. So I'll reach out and Love to have lunch or dinner with you guys sometimes.
Justin needs to fly you out. You should be getting free conference, free. I mean, the insights are incredibly valuable, and you're an asset to his brand, man.
I appreciate you guys having me on today. It was great to get to know you guys a little bit, and look forward to talking more in the future.
Yeah, thanks for
you guys
listening.
Have a great podcast, man.
Thank you very much.
It's really cool. I was really, really impressed.
That
means a lot.
Means a lot. Yeah, that means a lot.
Thanks,
Come on
back on soon.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss out on more great content. And if you're considering investing in a franchise, whether it's the brand you featured today or another opportunity, we're here to help. Visit us at Franchisee.com. That's FRANOCITY.com. We love to help you take that next step towards business ownership.